So, good morning all. Good morning. So the thing is, we are starting a series of orientation classes, which we started from yesterday, 22nd, which will be continuing till 26th. We will be continuing it till 26th. Within this period of 4 or 5 days, we will be covering in and out of APPSC Group 1, Prelims and Mains. In that, we will be covering the Prelims part, the Mains part, and the previous year question analysis and the sources from which they have asked the question. So I welcome you to the session. Today we will be interacting on Indian polity. We will be interacting on current events. Okay, current events, both are part of the syllabus and which contribute 30 questions equally in the prelims. So it contributes around 60 marks. And tomorrow you will have a session of another two classes, 2 subjects. Like that, by 26th, we will be completing. So for you to assess whether this session is relevant, or if you join the class, whether it will be helpful or not, there should be certain parameters for you to assess the quality, isn't it? So the first one is the relevance. The relevance we are establishing through something known as the reverse engineering technique. Here, if you see the screen for each subject, for constitution, polity, social justice, and IR, which constitute 30 questions, and current events like that, if you see, there are all subjects for which we have segregated the last 2 years APPSC prelims questions, and this list will be added upon. We will be adding the tspsc group 1, the last 2 relevant papers, the cancelled one and the present one. Then we will be adding the UPSC. So if you see, already last year Civic Center has released a material of group 1 previous year questions comprising of questions from 4 different states. So that way you will understand from which areas the questions are being asked, not only in APPSC but also in other relevant PSCs. Okay. So coming to polity, if you see, we have segregated based on the syllabus. The syllabus has 4 or 5 major parts. One is Indian Constitution, then it has constitutional authorities, then coming down it has rights issues, then coming further down it has India's foreign relations, international news. So within Indian Constitution, they have given the preamble, fundamental rights, DPSPs. Within that, we will see what all questions have been asked. Okay, we will not be seeing each and every question. This is just an analysis. So last year, for the 2022 notification, which was held in 2023, actually, the ongoing interview program, there was a question on the preamble. It was a 4-statement question. A 4-statement question, and it was, despite the number of statements, it was a medium question. It was static in nature. So once you have the question paper with you, when you go through this analysis, you will understand what kind of question it is. And from preamble, what kind of question I can expect. And it was directly sourced from the Lakshmikant. If you see, out of the 4 statements, 2 statements you can answer as such from the Lakshmikant. Okay, so if you read it on your own, you can do it. Our intention here is to make you answer all the 4 statements. So there is a dynamic part involved in it, which is based on the recent developments. How to answer that? There are certain questions which are directly asked. In 2018, they have asked a question on liberties, the liberties mentioned in the Constitution, which is very direct and which is very easy. Okay, what are the liberties mentioned? Like we know, right, within preamble, liberty of thought, isn't it? Belief, expression, faith, and worship. We have that. So by the fundamental knowledge of the content given in the preamble also, you could answer. That is why we marked it as easy. Then this question was little moderate because it was more of an application level. They did not ask, was the preamble amended ever? They did not ask which constitutional amendment amended the preamble, or they did not ask the content within the preamble or arrange the content within the preamble. They asked preamble can be invoked to determine the ambit of, then they have given certain options. To answer that, you should know a bit more, the analytical part of the preamble, rather than just reading the content, what the preamble intends, in which all areas we can use the preamble. Is the preamble part of the Constitution? Can it be invoked, to justify certain things? So that part of analysis is what we will be covering in the class. Coming to fundamental rights, again, we have direct question on Article 21A and 23. The content they have given, then they have asked the question, they deals with. Again, we can say it is directly from Lakshmikant or the Constitution of India. Then there were certain difficult questions. So this question number 12 on constitutional amendment, we frame it as difficult because they have asked a question, which of the following amendments deals with reservation in the Indian Constitution, reservation issue. There you should be knowing different amendments, not just that. You should know a group of amendments which are related to a particular issue. Amendments related to maybe giving special power to certain states, amendment related to reservation, amendment related to certain other things, or amendments that were struck down by the judiciary. Like that, you need to segregate the amendments rather than knowing from 1 to 105th amendment, just the content. You need to segregate the important ones. Then only you could answer this question. All amendments related to reservation. That is why we classified it as a difficult one. Then another difficult one is they have asked the 11th schedule of the Constitution. Can you tell the 11th schedule of the Constitution deals with what aspect? 11th schedule of the Constitution deals with the Panchayati Raj institutions. Okay, Panchayati Raj. 12th schedule deals with municipalities. Okay, so within the 11th schedule of the Constitution, yes, anti-defection. Okay, so subject in the 11th schedule of the Constitution, there are a number of subjects. There are a number of subjects in 12th schedule as well. They have given a list of subjects, a list of 5 subjects, and they have asked which of the following are explicitly given under 11th schedule. We have categorized them as difficult. The question is difficult because usually people will go through the schedules and what it is for, what it deals with. 8th schedule, languages, 9th schedule, what it is, 10th schedule, defection, anti-defection. Like that we will learn, but we will not go for the in-depth analysis like the subject. And they have asked 5 important subjects that are being dealt with Panchayati Raj institutions. So that is why we have classified again it as difficult. So like that, we have done that for the last 2 years for all areas. And we have done that for current events. Again, last 2 years, if you see the questions that are direct in nature, what are the sources? For 2018 paper, which was again conducted in 2019, they have asked from current affairs of 2019. So you should be that updated at least 1 month before the exam, whatever has been asked in the news, you should be updated. So the source will be updating it further. We will be giving you the source link as well. That way we will ensure the credibility. Because simply because I say this is also current affairs asked, you don't have to trust me. But if I can substantiate with the source, which will be added upon soon, that ensures credibility. Like that for science and technology, history, Indian and AP economy, general mental ability, we have segregated all questions. Okay, and we will be keep on adding questions of the relevant PSC so that you will again understand from which areas they are asking. So end of the day, we will have a simple sheet with limited number of questions and subject wise, topic wise, segregated paper. Okay, so both will be available. Okay, both will be available. Coming to today's analysis, the agenda is that we will have a brief discussion on first Indian polity part. In that we will be dealing with the syllabus analysis briefly, then the PYQ analysis, then the reference and sources, which we'll have to do it, which will be covering along with it. After that, we'll be doing the same thing for current affairs, okay, current events. Then we will briefly look at an issue. You should know like how we will be taking the class, from which all parameters we will be taking the class. So we will be taking the ongoing issue in Manipur and keeping apart the political parts. We will be discussing the important points that are again important for you from exam perspective. Clear? So fundamentals of the exam. If you go to the 2022 notification, it is, you might be at least knowing the pattern. There are 2 papers. Paper number 1, paper number 2. Each paper 120 questions and 120 marks. So roughly you are having 1 minute per question. Negative is 1/3. The good thing with this pattern is that they have clearly segregated. From history and culture, you have 30 questions. From constitution, polity, social justice and IR, you have 30 questions. Like that, you have 30 questions from each subject given. So you can expect a proportion. Unlike UPSC, where you feel like, okay, this year polity was given more importance. This year geography was given more importance. Here it is fixed proportion. Okay. Second one, in second part, little bit tweaked. For example, the paper of general aptitude alone will have 60 questions. Then the 2 parts, Science and technology, 30 questions. Current events, 30 questions. Clear? So here you have a fixed pattern. Coming to mains, and out of 240, last time through our test series alone, 111 questions were reflected through our test series alone. Reflection doesn't mean that just the same topic has been asked. We consider it as reflection if at least 50% or more of the question can be answered from our paper. And a 4-statement question, at least if it enables you to clear out 2 statements, and if you do that in APPSC, you can apply the elimination method. In UPSC, the elimination method has been eliminated over the last years, but in APPSC, still that matters. If you can find that one right statement, you can eliminate all the remaining 3 options. So that way, if this 50% ensures that you get your mark, then we are claiming it as a reflection. In our test series alone, 111 reflections were there in prelims. Okay. Second, coming to mains, you have a compulsory Telugu paper, you have a compulsory English paper. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 papers. Okay. 3 hours of each paper, 150 marks each. That means 15 questions, 15 into 10. Each question followed by an option. Here for today, our concern is this paper, Polity, Constitution, Governance, Law and Ethics. In that, Law and Ethics will be covered separately as per the schedule. Okay. So we will briefly see the mains question as well. Online members, if you have any doubt, feel free to ask in the chat session. Okay. So coming to the syllabus, we'll briefly, people might have already gone through the syllabus. You might be already knowing the syllabus. We'll briefly segregate the syllabus. First part of the syllabus, Indian Constitution. Okay. First part of the syllabus, Indian Constitution. In that, they have clearly given few points like its evolution. That means starting from the Constituent Assembly or even before. Yeah, please. Even before that, the laws and rules enacted by the British people, how it laid the foundation. Preamble, from which we saw enough and more questions. Fundamental rights, from which we have questions in the previous year. Fundamental duties, DPSPs. Then amendments, from which we already discussed. Amendments related to reservation. Then the basic structure. So it is a very clearly and neatly given syllabus for which you don't have to learn so much out of it. Maybe something that is not clearly given. If you see, the aspects of judiciary is not clearly mentioned, but we have question on Supreme Court. So we are not telling that you don't have to learn anything out of the syllabus. We have to compare the syllabus, and we cannot say that judiciary is not important because it is not explicitly mentioned. Judiciary, we have to learn it because previous year questions are there. But at least what is given in the syllabus, you should be learning it thoroughly. Okay. Second part is Indian polity. So we can communicate in both languages. Okay. So coming to Indian polity, if you have any doubt, please ask. Okay. Coming to Indian polity, it is different from Indian Constitution. Like the relation between union and states, role of president, prime minister, chief minister, council of minister, role of governor, that will come under Indian polity. Third aspect is governance. Within governance, they can ask the initiatives. Initiative of AP government or other tools, maybe citizen charter they can ask. And one part of governance is schemes, programs, policies of the government. Then comes international relations. India's foreign policy they have given, international relation. So there they might ask, last time they have asked about Chicago Convention. If you go through PYQ, you will understand. So internationally, what are the political developments will be asked here. And India's certain initiative. India is a part of I2, U2. India joined an year back, almost a year back. So that was asked previously. That comes under this part. Then rights issues. If you analyze, rights issues were given minimal focus in last year. They have asked about NCSC, National Commission for Scheduled Caste. They have asked about National Commission for Women. So as such, they haven't asked about a particular issue or more analytical. Rights of scheduled caste. For that, a constitutional body is there, NCSC. About that, they have asked. Rights of women. For that, a statutory body is there, NCW. About that, they have asked. So that way, the way we segregated, if you go through it, you will understand that they have asked questions exactly from the syllabus. The good thing is we cannot say the question paper is not good. The questions were out of, if you see some of the questions of tspsc group 1, we can say that the question paper, there were spelling mistakes. Some questions are very vague. Some questions lacked a source. There were multiple answers. But coming to APPSC group 1 last year, the questions were of quality and they were relevant and they were asked as such from the syllabus. Okay. PYQ analysis. So I have already shown, the sheet will be shared with all of you. Okay. We have, when we analyze, there are 30 questions from polity part. Polity, international relations, social justice part. 30 marks, 1/3 negative. So if you ask me, I would say most of them were easy and moderate. We can say there are 3 to 4 difficult questions. Why they are difficult? First of all, I would say it is difficult if they ask about very minor fact. When we learn something, we learn on a surface level, not each and every minor aspect. So the question which asked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 items are given. Which of the items belongs to 11th schedule of the Constitution? I would say that is a very minor fact. That is why I classified it as a difficult question. Apart from that, if you have revised properly, if you have studied properly, at least what is given in the syllabus, you could have easily answered 24 to 25 questions. So 24 correct question means 24 marks. Isn't it? That is very important because out of 240, if you score a decent marks, we can say for being safe, you have to score 100 plus. Let us say 100 plus. It is really helpful. For that, you are getting almost 1/4 from a particular subject, a very small part of it, isn't it? That itself is 24 marks. Second, there were factual questions, and we can say M. Lakshmikant and Constitution of India was the source. We can also say that questions were taken from government websites as such. If you see UPSC, you people might have given UPSC attempts also, prelims also. There more of an analytical question will come. We cannot say questions are as such from this book, as such from this, except for few questions. Here it was as such. So what you need is a proper plan. Which all shall I study? Where all shall I limit? How to make my revision notes? And how to revise properly? Because if you read a number of times only, you will be able to recollect. Application of concept in few statements. Like I said, no, the preamble of the Constitution, one of the question was, the preamble of the Constitution can be invoked for. That you cannot answer unless you know some application level questions related to preamble. Something more about preamble other than the content. So there were such questions, but the proportion was less. Okay. International relations was given limited focus. Coming to current events, in current events, the syllabus is very easy. They have given regional, they have given, yes, national, then they have given international. So here if you see, maximum proportion is for national, then comes for international, then comes for regional. So maximum proportion is for national. Here they have asked several questions, but here it was 2 or 3. Okay. Again, please go through the sheet which we will be sharing with you. Okay. Governance area, again, part of the syllabus was given very limited focus. They have asked about couple of schemes. Last year they asked about which scheme? PM case. PM case. Okay. So to justify the viewpoint, these were easy questions. So why do I call them easy questions? I would say easy questions with minimum focus on analysis. See, a very direct question on preamble. When was preamble enacted? When was the Constitution enacted? Can you tell the date? 19? So there are 2 dates coming to the Constitution. Adopted date, came into force. Okay, that you should know. So you should know when was preamble enacted, before the Constitution or after it. Second thing, is it part of the Constitution? If you read the basics, you will understand. Third thing, is it enforceable in the court of law? What is given in preamble? Justice. if it is given there, if justice is not served, can preamble be cited? It is mentioned there. I am not getting it. Can it be enforced in the court of law? Fourth one, the objective resolution, which was the key or foundation for the preamble. So this, I would say, is a, despite being a 4-statement question, is an easy question because all the 4 statements, most of you know it. Second, see, child labor made illegal, right to education. In this context, they have asked about 2 articles, right to education, prohibition of child labor. With very basic understanding of the fundamental rights, you can say which is the answer. So here, yeah, here the confusion will come for you because 21A, you people know it, whether it is 23 or 24, whether it is dealing with trafficking, whether it is dealing with child labor, there you will have a confusion. Yeah. So there what you need is revision. Some people have a doubt after 21. What is 22? Some people have confusion between Article 20 and Article 22. Maybe surface level they know. Which one deals with preventive detention? Which one deals with double jeopardy? Punishing a person more than once for the same crime. So that things you should know more. Because from such questions, when you get such questions, you should get the mark. No mistake shall be made there. Okay. Third question about the National Commission for Scheduled Caste. What are their functions? Question is, which of the following is not a function? So we know that they submit a report annually on the functioning of the laws, on the conditions of the scheduled caste, but it is whether it is to the Prime Minister or to the President or in the Parliament directly. That is where we have doubt. Suppose we think this is the incorrect one. Okay, I think NCSC gives the report to President. I am assuming that. But then there is 4th option, none of the above. You understand that? So that fact, minor things you should know. To whom they are submitting the report. Why? If it is to the President, why to the President? Why not directly in the Parliament? Suppose you are the President. I am the NCSC Commission chairperson. Why should I give it to you and he is there in the Parliament? Why should you give it to the Parliament later? Why not me directly to the Parliament? So if you know the brief things, such doubts will not come, whether it was the Prime Minister or President. When you by heart it only, such issues will come. Okay, we will discuss that further in the class. This I would say are difficult questions. Like I said, the 5 points and which of the following were in 11 schedule. There within the schedule, the subject given we shall know. I would say it is a difficult one. Then we know there are 3 lists: union list, state list, concurrent list. Within that there are several entries. We should know the entry also. Here we cannot have a vague idea because the option is 63, 64, 65, 66. So most of us doesn't know that. The entry number we don't know. Such cases it is better to leave the question. Because the chance of knowing that entry is very rare. Very rare. So the chance of getting 1/3 negative is very high. Isn't it? Such cases you can leave the question. Third one, who said that? This opinion on India, who made it? If you simply Google it, you will not get it. So these individuals are not common. We know Woodrow Wilson, we know Jawaharlal Nehru, but P.H. Appleby, Carl Friedrich are not common to most of us, isn't it? So here we have to take a chance. Again, we will guess. But the thing is, you go and Google the exact statement, you are not getting it directly. Understood? Maybe you will get some other competitors who's telling that, okay, this is the answer. But if it was that famous, at least some newspaper would have quoted it, some research paper would have quoted it, some author like maybe India After Gandhi, some others would have quoted it. That is very rare. Okay, so such questions I would say are difficult. Indian polity and constitution. In that, if you might have gone through last year mains question also. Again, I would say Indian constitution salient features, functions and duties of the union. From this alone, there will be a current event. Based on that, they will ask a question. I will tell an example. Role of governor in states. Last means there was a question on the role of governor. We will see that question. Okay. Then if you see 73rd and 74th Amendment, very important. Every year there will be a question. Every year there will be a question. the relevance of Panchayati Raj, how efficient is 73rd Amendment, what is the role of Gram Sabha, everything or something around these two amendments, definitely there will be a question. So you people will be clearing prelims, and when you go for mains, you should have a very good content on 73rd and 74th Amendment, not just the surface level content. It's functioning, certain success stories, where it has made enough, some grassroots leaders who came onto the top to become MLAs or chief minister. Maybe in your areas, local areas, there will be some stories. It might have led to women empowerment. Such different dimension you should have. That is why we are doing the PYQ analysis for you. Then you will understand, okay, there are certain areas from which question is being asked every year. Clear? Parliament and state legislature, judiciary as such is given. Okay. Last year there was a question on public interest litigation. So you don't have to prepare anything out of box. UPSC mains, if you see, it is very difficult for us to predict the question, isn't it? Because even though the syllabus is given, they will ask a very analytical part of it. But here, as such they have asked. We will see it. Okay. Then next is public administration and governance. Here also I'll give an example. They have asked administrative ideas in Kautilya's Arthashastra. They did not give the Vedas, they did not give the Manusmriti, they did not give any other thing. They gave at Kautilya's Arthashastra as such. Last year they asked a question on Kautilya's Arthashastra. That also will show. So what we are telling you is, it is not a very big task. What is given in the syllabus, if you have good content, for example, last year they asked about citizen charter. If you go through the mains question, you will understand what is given in the syllabus. If you have a good command on it, if you have enough content on it, if you do proper revision, if you do proper writing, practice everything, your name will be in the list. There is no doubt in that. Okay. And ethics class will be taken by another faculty, which will be like before 26, it will be completed. Okay. On the day of CSAT and aptitude, sorry, not CSAT, aptitude, ethics will be completed. Okay. Yeah, coming to, so each part has how many questions? Each paper, 15 questions. In mains, 15 questions with 2 options. So there will be 30. Coming to polity and governance, there were 20 questions, 10 into 2. Remaining 5 into 2 was for ethics. Okay. I would say all the 20 questions in polity and governance part, you can write something. Even if you don't prepare much, but if you have some basic knowledge, all the 20 questions you could write. There is no particular topic which you don't know anything. For example, if they ask about National Judicial Appointment Committee, NJAC, if they ask, you people might not be knowing. Such particular question was not there. It was very, very, very simple, and it was as such from the syllabus. Okay. All the questions were very clear and relevant. This is very important, because sometimes after reading the prelims question or something, we feel like this doesn't make a sense. I'm not able to understand it. Not because you are weak, because the question is not properly framed. The good thing was all the questions were very clear and very relevant. Okay. Third thing, it was not direct. What is the roles and responsibilities of CAG? No. They were analytical, where you have to give your perspective. Sometimes you have to say positive things. Sometimes you have to say negative things. Sometimes you have to suggest a way forward. In that case, you need to have multiple dimensions. If you make a note on CAG, article number, who is the present office holder, what are the functions, then you will not get the maximum mark. You will get it only when you have the positive dimensions of CAG, certain success stories. You have the negative dimensions, the limitations on CAG. There were questions where aspirants may make political comments. This was very important, because every one of us has a political lineation. Though we say we are politically neutral, we have some perspectives. When you get such questions, be very careful. Don't give out your political perspective. It could be, the question could be favoring the party in rule, criticizing the opposition party, or vice versa, or state versus center. Make sure you write the answer from the perspective of a bureaucrat. So this question, I would say these were direct and easy, because please read it. Briefly discuss the different kinds of motions used to discuss matters in the parliament. Comment on the difference between motions and resolutions. This is a minor fact. What are motions? What are resolutions? You should know. Before that, different kinds of motions, like you might have heard about the no confidence motion, isn't it? Such motions, what are they? 3 or 4 discuss. That is a very direct question. That is why I said it is easy. Describe the matters in which legislative council stands equal with legislative assembly. Is Andhra Pradesh having a legislative council now? Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad. It is there. 2 houses are there. How many states have 2 houses? We should know that. Telangana is having or not. So in certain aspects, see, legislative council is not always equal as legislative assembly, because these are directly elected by the people. These are elected by certain section, then nominated like 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, like that. Okay. So certain cases they are equal, like Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, where they are equal. It is again given in the books. It is again given in several sources. There were certain news articles, but we should have an understanding. So in the class, we promise you to deliver these things, which will be based on the previous year questions itself. Okay. And I call these questions more analytical, and you may give political perspective. Question number 1. The office of the governor in certain situations carries with it the exercise of discretionary functions and special responsibilities. Discuss this statement in view of the constitutional provision. This is a state PSC question. So if you see, in most cases, there is a tussle between governor and chief minister. Telangana, it was there. West Bengal, it was there. Kerala, it is there. We have heard it so many places, isn't it? Andhra Pradesh, as of now, we are not seeing much of an issue, because YSRCP, BJP, somehow they are in the same lines in most of the issue. But this is where you tend to give your political comment. You can criticize a governor who has taken a wrong decision, like constitutionally mandated to do so, but not doing so. Here you should know the discretionary functions. Governor is having 2 types of discretionary functions. One is constitutional discretionary function. One is situational. One is mentioned in the constitution. One is based on the situation. One such situation is selecting the chief minister after election. This is very important because it has happened in Maharashtra. After the election, you belong to the NCP, you belong to Shiva Sena, I belong to Congress. Okay. We are forming a group and there is BJP. One person from BJP is telling the governor that I have enough number of MLAs to form the government. You are going and telling that we have enough number of MLAs. That is a situational discretion. If sender is favoring that person and that party, governor will be calling that person. Then defection might happen. Understood? That actually happened in Maharashtra. So that is why I said you should give apolitical comments. Next is, the national education policy has been criticized as denuding the autonomy of states. Education comes under which list of the constitution? Union or state or concurrent? Good. Concurrent. That means both have the role, isn't it? So sender telling that this is national education policy. Now the present system will be replaced by 5+3+3, like that. Then some of the states said that you are now coming into our job. Don't do that, isn't it? We say separation of power for judiciary, between judiciary, legislature and executives. Same way, there is union list, state list, concurrent list. So you are coming into our area. Here you might criticize in an extreme way. Sender has done very bad thing. Or you might support, sender has done a great thing. That is where you have to take a balance stand, because the question is, what is the rationale behind the transfer of matters from state list to the concurrent list? State to concurrent list. That is not a good thing, because the authority of state is coming down. Since it is concurrent list, the authority of sender is coming up. If you see education or if you see forest, were moved into concurrent list. Okay. Yeah, briefly speaking, before going into our current affairs aspect, in this particular course, which will be lasting for almost 6 months, we'll be giving you 280 plus classes, with each subject having certain focus. For example, polity and governance, we'll be covering in 35 classes. Okay, current affairs we will be covering in 30 classes. Second, tracking sheet for each class. The problem is that everyone promises. You might be having a bad experience as well. They have promised to finish the classes in 6 months. Even in 8 months, half of the classes are not over. Classes are being frequently cancelled. Once you pay the money, there is no response. You might be having it. So you will be having a tracking sheet for each class. If that class is being cancelled, you have a proof with you. Isn't it? I cannot simply come and say today the promised class cannot be delivered. It will be delivered on next week. Today this faculty will take. Maybe you will say, okay, it is okay for one day, one time or 2 times or 3 times, but that cannot be regular. So you will be having a tracking sheet which will be transparent within our website. So when something is being made transparent, you cannot compromise on it. Third thing, you will have integrated test series. As I told you last time, prelims alone, there were 111 reflections from 240 questions. Coming to mains, 53 questions were reflected from our mains test series. So you will be having that integrated test series. You will be having weekly test series. So you'll make sure that you will go through the classes. You'll make sure that you will be taking the tests and you will be doing revision from your side. Okay. Weekly tests and one-on-one interaction. So part of the test series. So this is what I said. To check whether it is authentic or a made a fact, you can go to our website civiccenter.in. You can just download the document. In that we have compared the question asked by APPSC Group 1, the question we asked in our Group 1 test series. It is relevant only if at least the core content of this question in mains is the core content of this question. Or as I told in prelims, if they have asked a 5-statement question, at least 2 or 3 are asked such there in our test series. So you please download the document and make sure you check the authenticity, because people promise a number of things. You have to check whether it is true or not. Okay. We will move on to the current events subject. So that was all about polity, and you missed the initial sheet where we segregated, which we'll be showing again towards the end. Current affairs, the good thing is that regional, national, international they have given. We'll be asking from these 3. But the bad thing is that it is very vague. Within regional, what they can ask, they haven't given. Within national, because if you see this is very vague, they can ask anything. That makes it difficult. Okay. Here the only working way is something that we devise called reverse engineering technique. So what we will be doing is APPSC 2022 notification, 2018 notification. These are the latest we will be studying. Same way, tspsc, the last 2 years group 1 we will be studying, the cancelled one and the ongoing one we will be studying. Same way, UPSC, last 3 to 4 years questions we will be studying. Then we will understand a pattern. Within regional, there is a trend. Not everything is asked. A minor scheme implemented in West Bengal, if they ask, we cannot answer. But suppose there is a scheme in Andhra Pradesh. There is a similar successful scheme in Rajasthan. That they might ask. You understand? That could be the relation. That fact you should know. So when you do this analysis, we will know from the questions, we will again go back to the source. That is why we call it as reverse engineering technique. So this is the only way when the syllabus is vague. This is the only way to score, because somewhere we have to limit, no? You cannot read everything, isn't it? Last time they have asked Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, is located on the city, on the banks of which river? You might be reading about Kyiv, Ukraine, countries bordering Ukraine because of the ongoing war. But this might be very rare. You might not have gone through it. Okay. But now we know if there is a city in news, is there a river flowing nearby? We will check because there is a previous year question. So we will be taking 12 months of current affairs classes in 30 classes and will be giving compilation for that. So that your effort, I won't say that you will be getting all the questions from that. But I can say that out of 30 questions, at least 24-25 questions will be from that. Okay, because if I say 100 out of 100, that is a fake promise. That is what I believe. Weekly current affairs classes and tests. So current affairs classes will be on a weekly basis. towards the end of the week, apart from the static classes. Going for the analysis again, 30 questions, 30 marks, 1/3 negative. Here, most of them were direct question. This report was released by Kiwis located on the banks of. There were no application level questions. You don't have to learn a concept and then apply it. Okay. You don't have to learn, then apply. For example, science and tech, there was a question on uranium enrichment. There you should know briefly about uranium enrichment. What is weapon grade uranium? That is what is the grade of uranium used for energy purpose. And I mean civil energy purpose. That is, you should know more and more about it. Here it is like, if you know the fact, you just go for it. There were 6 to 7 difficult questions. Why difficult question is, there were very minor facts. I'll show the questions. Very minor fact or not from an important topic. Topics that when you read something, for example, today you might have read the Hindu newspaper or Indian Express or any newspaper. There you will understand, okay, this topic is potential. You will make note. Some topics when you read it, this is not important, isn't it? Such topics were also asked, which we cannot do anything. For example, in the recent times, which of the following bird has mass mortality in Srikakulam? This was a very big news in AP local newspaper as well as national newspapers. But the thing is that they have asked their scientific names also. We might be knowing pelicans died, isn't it? The common name, but they have asked the scientific name. But I would say it is an easy one because it was there in the local news for some time. Second thing, crimson rose butterfly. It was also in news, but it is a minor one. But you can just answer it if you know. It is found in mostly in South India, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh. That region is the habitat. If you know that, this question is very easy. Okay, and it was in news. It was not because it was endangered. So you should know. And UPSC has also asked once about butterfly, state butterfly. So it has become important. So now tomorrow, if you get a news on some butterfly, for example, this particular species was found in Eastern Ghats in these hills in Andhra Pradesh, you will read a bit more about it, isn't it? You will at least read 2 points. First point is, what is the IUCN status of it? Second point is, where it is found. At least these two you will read. That is what we call as reverse engineering technique. Okay. Third one, as I told you, I2U2. Can you tell the correct answer? Full form of I2U2. Very clear. If you know it is not Indonesia, you can eliminate. If you know one Arab country was there, you can eliminate. You will come for the answer. Clear? That is why I called these are easy questions. This I would call are difficult questions because when Russia-Ukraine war was happening, they were telling that SWIFT transaction will be suspended. These cards will not work in Russia. Their transaction will be affected. Their banking system will be affected. And SWIFT, it was in news. So they have asked 4 statement question and very minor facts. We know this. It is a payment network. We know that. Founded in 1991. Whether it is having the authority to impose sanctions, that you will get to know only if you read the news article. Whether SWIFT impose sanction on Russian banks. Okay. So I would say that is difficult. Then Mangrove Alliance for Climate. Okay. Again, this is not an initiative launched by India, but they have asked a 4 statement question. Who launched? They have asked. UAE was part of it and it was very difficult, but we have asked it in our test series. Second thing, is India a member? Yes. Third thing, when was it launched? Third thing, what is it for? So you should know, not just like I2U2 the members. Here you should know the members, the objective, when was it launched? Okay. Third thing, externally aided projects in Andhra Pradesh. Maybe for mains, you will make note of 1 or 2 points. This particular project in Andhra Pradesh is aided by Japanese bank, German bank. But here they have asked 3 statements. This particular project is funded by World Bank. This particular project is funded by Japanese institution. This particular project is funded by a German bank. I would say that is difficult. too much factual. Okay, clear? So we have briefly discussed about polity, we have briefly discussed about current events. But if you see, can anyone tell what is happening in Manipur? So we being aspirants, we should know something from exam perspective. Listen. Special. See what is related. So then you should know what is the 371 article related to Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Clear. So we will briefly discuss the Manipur issue. This is how we will be taking our each and every class in the course. Okay. Briefly, what is happening in Manipur. First aspect is you should know where Manipur is located. So some people, they have a doubt. Manipur is on top of Nagaland or below Nagaland. Whether Manipur has a border with Myanmar or not. Whether Manipur has border with Bangladesh or not. Okay. First thing, when a place is in news, you should know its geography, where it is located. If the place is frequently in news, like Afghanistan, like Syria, like Ukraine, like maybe Turkey, you should know the neighbors as well. This is Manipur. Only thing you should know, its international boundary is only with Myanmar, not with Bangladesh. Okay. Its international boundary is only with Myanmar. With how many other states? With Nagaland, with Assam, with Tripura, with Mizoram. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. That is why if you see when the issue happens, migration happens to these 3 areas. And in the news, people say some insurgent groups based in Myanmar is coming to Manipur because it shares border. So now you know where it is located. Capital of Manipur is Imphal. Here you should know where that capital is located. Because the ongoing issue is an issue of hill versus valley. I wouldn't say it is a religion based issue. I would say it is more of a hill versus valley issue. Imphal, it is located in the valley. So if you know Andhra Pradesh, where will be the capital? Amaravati. If Amaravati, the capital is there, people in and around Amaravati will have an advantage, isn't it? See, you go to Telangana. Where is the capital located? Hyderabad. So they will definitely have an advantage compared to people in Adilabad. So Imphal, who occupies more? It is the Meitei people. Okay. There are hills. Who occupies that? That we will see. Manipur, first we will discuss briefly the political history of Manipur. Okay, the political history. So we know that Northeast has a checkered history. It is not, all the Northeastern states were not part of India when India became independent, or their newly formed states. So we will briefly see it. First of all, Manipur was a kingdom. Okay, Manipur was a kingdom. So this is the whole story. From early 12th century, that is from somewhere in 1100 plus, it started to 1949. Before that also there were small kingdoms. We are not dealing with that. The major part is early 12th century to 1949. It was a kingdom. Okay. The kingdom was ruled by many kings whose religion was initially different. Later it was different. Some of the famous kings you should know. One is Sir Chura Chandra Singh. One is Bodha Chandra Singh. At least these 2 names you should know. Because in 1949, when it became part of Indian Union, he was the ruler. Like we know, Maharaja Hari Singh of Jammu and Kashmir. Last ruler when Jammu and Kashmir became part of India through instrument of accession. We say that. Same happened here. If you see, there is a point. Can you tell the famous king or queen's name in AP, any dynasty? Andhra Pradesh. Do you have any famous king of your own? Rudrama Devi or Vijayanagara, you can say. we don't hear the name Sir Krishna Devaraya, isn't it? Sir Krishna Devaraya. No. King Krishna Devaraya. Here, if you see, Sir. That title is given by whom? British. That shows Suraj Chandra Singh, either Manipur was into subsidiary alliance or he was given certain titles like knight title or this crown, that crown by the British. So they were friendly with British. That you should understand. That rulers were friendly with British. Like Hyderabad, which later became subsidiary alliance. Second, we should know the religion, because some perspective, some political people are telling Manipur what is happening is Hindu versus Christian. That is what they are telling. So we should know whether it is Hindu versus Christian in reality. Manipur kingdom, initially they had their own religion called the Meitei religion. These people were Meiteis. So you might have a doubt. Singh usually belongs to Sikh people, Punjabi people. But who is the present chief minister of Manipur? You should know it. N. Biren Singh. Singh. Suraj Chandra Singh. Bodha Chandra Singh. Why Singh? See, this Singh, it actually means lion. The meaning is lion. So when they became, the Hindu religion became prominent there, the Kshatriya clan at that time adopted, like we are Hindus, and they adopted the name Singh. Like we have Mahendra Singh Dhoni, no? Who is from? Cricketer, which state? MS Dhoni is from MS Dhoni plays for Chennai Super Kings. He is from Jharkhand, Ranchi. Yeah, very good. Realme. It is better to put your own name, okay, because we can communicate in a better way. Realme. He is from Jharkhand. Don't say Dhoni is from Tamil Nadu because he plays for CSK. Yeah. So that is how the name is. So you might be, this doubt you should have. Punjab former chief minister was Amarinder Singh, being a Punjabi. But Suraj Chandra Singh, Punjab is on the westernmost side, Manipur is in the easternmost side. How Singh? Such doubt shall be there. Because if you don't know anything, if they give 4 options, 3 northeastern names and 1 name, Bodha Chandra Singh, who was the king of Manipur when Manipur became part of India? If there is a question and Bodha Chandra Singh is there, you might not answer it because you feel like Singh is not that name. So such doubts, if you clarify, now if there is a question, you will definitely answer, no? Next, they had Meitei religion. They are on more of animistic religion, like loving the nature, more into nature. Then they converted into Gaudiya or Chaitanya Vaishnavism. That is Hinduism. Chaitanya Vaishnavism, do you recollect? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the one who spread Vaishnavism in Bengal, Northeast. Yeah. So from Meitei, they became Vaishnavism, Vaishnavites. That is how Meitei people, majority of them are presently Hindus. All Meiteis are not Hindus. There are Muslim Meiteis. There are Meiteis who follow their own religion. There are Hindu Meiteis. Clear now? Second, they merged into the Union of India through Instrument of Accession in 1949. So it is very clear Manipur was not part of India when India became independent. Another important point. Was Manipur part of India when India became independent? No. Such a question is there means your answer is no. Okay. It became a centrally administered area then, and till 1956 it was so. Centrally administered area, please. In 1956, what happened? (1956), what is the relevance? Very significant year. Correct only. States Reorganization Act. Many new states were formed. We are not talking about Andhra state. We are not talking about Poti Sri Ramlu movement. Later, 1956, when it was decided that states can be formed on a linguistic basis. Very good. Okay. So 1956, that happened. When that happened, it became a union territory. So under the States Reorganization Act, Manipur became a union territory, a centrally administrative area in 1949, not part of India in 1947, centrally administered area in 1949, 1956, a union territory. Clear? From 1956, it went on. 1972, it became a state. It achieved statehood. So 1949 to 1972, how many years? Nearly 23 years, we can say. Became part of India to a state, it took 23 years. There were different reasons, political reasons, tribal reasons, segregating the boundaries. Because if you go to Northeast, you will understand that cultures are mixed. You understand? Cultures are mixed. You cannot simply say these people shall form this group. And you cannot, if this is Northeast, you cannot make such divisions. Because people are mixed. It has to be like that. Even then, there will be, certain Methi will be on that side, certain Methi will be on this side, certain Kuki will be on that side, they will be on this side, which they don't want. The Britishers have done that in Africa. If you see the borders of Egypt, in Africa, if you see the borders of Egypt, you can see such lines, just using scale. Sudan, if you go, you can see such lines. That is why present day also there are issues. Half of their people are on that side, half of their people are on this side. They want to go to that side, have a separate country. They are fighting. So that could not be done in Manipur. Present day politics. So we learned the history. What was Manipur before? When did it join India? When it became a union territory? When it became a state? We discussed. Next is the present day politics. The governor of Manipur, Srimati Anasuya Uike. This lady is a very important tribal leader from Madhya Pradesh, who is presently the governor of the state. The state is frequently in news, not the governor of the state, nor the chief minister at least. Second person is N. Biren Singh. Okay, he is the chief minister. A footballer who became the chief minister. The issue is that, what is the name? Singh. So he is mostly which tribe? Methi. That is the issue. Suppose you people are fighting. Assume you people are, both of you are fighting. When you fight, I am trying to come and help. But you already know that we share friendship, or we know each other for some time. So you don't trust me. You understand the issue. That is the issue. Also, he has made certain statement. Some people who are attacking me, I don't think they are from Manipur. I think they are from Myanmar. It was indirectly criticizing some Kuki people. We will discuss where Kukis are from. They have historical connection with Myanmar also. So when the person who has to solve the problem makes such comments, trust will not be there. When trust is not there, issue will not be resolved. Very importantly, Manipur Legislative Assembly, how many seats? 60 seats. In that, almost 40 are with Meithis. Okay, so almost 2/3 are with Meithis. So they are politically powerful. We should know. Politically strong, politically powerful. They have one Rajya Sabha member. They have 2 Lok Sabha members. Clear? A very small state. It has its own high court. Very important. It is a northeastern state with its own high court in Imphal, but a very new one. Just formed 10 years back in 2013. If you know Northeast, Assam is politically and population wise the biggest one, isn't it? They have which high court? Guwahati High Court. So Guwahati High Court initially used to have principal seats in some of the northeastern states. So until 2013, they had a principal seat in Imphal. So Manipur as such did not have a high court. If you go to Meghalaya, if you see Meghalaya High Court, you will understand it is a very new one. Before that, it was Guwahati High Court's principal seat in Aizawl. Sorry, in Meghalaya, in Shillong. Okay. Presently also, if you see, this is Tripura. This is Mizoram. So here in Mizoram, what happened? there is no High Court as such. Guwahati High Court, principal bench is there in capital of Mizoram. Okay, Aizawl it is there. So maybe future they will also have a High Court. So that is very important. Manipur is one such northeastern state with its own High Court. Okay, clear? Next, we know the 5th schedule. We know the 6th schedule. Which all states are part of 6th schedule? It is wrong. Tripura is there. There are 4 states at present. First one is Assam. Second is Tripura. Third is Mizoram. Fourth is Meghalaya. Manipur is not part of 6th schedule. If it is part of 6th schedule, the issue is that outsider cannot go settle there, buy land there. There are so many issues because there are certain tribal areas. There will be autonomous councils, which is we will discuss later in the polity classes. What are these? Then Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram. Very good. So people are telling this is a tribal versus non-tribal issue. Meiteis wants tribal status. So that we should know, are they the particularly vulnerable tribal groups? There are so many PVTGs in Andhra Pradesh. You know that, right? Konda, they have. Same way, are there any PVTGs in Manipur? You will understand that neither Meitei, which is not given ST status, nor Kuki, which is tribal, are part of PVTGs in Manipur. There are only one group, which are known as, not all Naga group, again, Maram Nagas. Only Maram Nagas are PVTGs. So if there is a statement, Kukis belongs to PVTGs in Manipur, that is incorrect. That is incorrect. Next point, what is the official language in Manipur? Manipuri, which is the Meitei language. Now do you understand? Politically powerful, official language. So now you understand, right? Who actually dominates Manipur? It is the Meiteis, the indigenous people. Historically, they are part of Manipur. They dominate in almost all aspects. Meitei language is part of, very importantly, 8th schedule. How many languages are there at present? 22. Very good. Is Telugu language part of it? Yes. If you want to travel to Manipur, certain areas, you need a permit known as inner line permit. So not all northeastern states need it. Certain states like Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, if you want to travel, for an Indian, you need a permit. No. For all, we don't need. For example, you want to go to Meghalaya, you want to go to Assam, you don't need inner line permit. Certain areas you need, that is Manipur. No, 6th schedule there is Assam, but you don't need inner line permit. Certain areas are there where, for example, tribal population is there, they live together. We might go and disturb them. Such areas, they have inner line permit. Arunachal Pradesh, it is needed. Manipur, it is needed. Okay, it is needed. Inner line permit is needed. APPSC, ASPA, Armed Forces Special Power Act. You might be knowing Irom Sharmila. Have you heard of Irom Sharmila, known as the Iron Lady of Manipur? She used to fight to repeal ASPA, because if ASPA is there in the state, armed forces enjoy immunity. Suppose you belong to the armed forces, Assam Rifles, suppose, and ASPA is there in Manipur. You are a soldier there. You suspect that I am a terrorist. I am part of an insurgent group. You feel like I am a threat. I might come and kill you. On that suspicion, you can shoot me. You can shoot me. If I am dead, you will not be punished because ASPA is there. You are immune. So that is can be misused very easily. So Irom Sharmila fought. Many people fought. She is the most famous figure. Irom Sharmila, I think herself is a Meitei. Okay. ASPA was repealed from most part of Manipur. Armed forces. Yeah. Irom Sharmila, then I forgot her name. Saikom Chanu, the recent medal winner. I think she is also Meitei. That I need to check. Okay. Irom Sharmila is Meitei. Biren Singh is Meitei. They are, because they are nearly 53% of the population. So ASPA is presently out of most of the state. We are not getting an official document telling that it is not there in any part of the state of Manipur. That we are not getting. But in 2022, it was repealed from most part of the state. Okay. So that is the present day politics. So what you need for exam is there. The political crisis, how it started. So as I told you, Manipur has a high court in Imphal. 2023, there was a petition filed by Meitei groups telling that, so we are majority there, nearly 53% of the population. We are not part, Manipur is not part of the 6th schedule, but still there is a law known as the Manipur Land Revenue Act 1960. It actually prohibits us, the majority population, from settling in the hills. We are non-tribals. Since we are non-tribals and we live in the valley, and valley is very limited. Nearly 80 to 90% of the area is in hills. But since we are non-tribals, we cannot buy land there and settle. Sir, this is our land. Please consider us, consider giving us scheduled tribe status so that we can also go settle there. That was the petition filed in High Court. When the petition filed itself, there was issues from cookies. Cookies are telling, already out of 60 MLAs, you have 40 people. Valley is the most developed area. Hills are not developed. If you visit, you will understand. There is point in both sides. Hills are not developed. You are enjoying all the facilities now. Now, if you get the scheduled tribe status also, you will come to our area, then you will completely dominate. We don't have enough representatives. We don't have that much development. All money is going to the valley because majority of the MLAs are from your area. So if you come to our land, if you are given ST status, we will be nowhere. That issue started. The then judge, or I think the Chief Justice himself, observed that expeditiously, please consider giving ST status to Meiteis. Then the issue started. Then the tribal union, they started protesting, and in very minor note, there was friction. It went out of control. Now you understand, from a Supreme Court, we cannot say from a Supreme Court observation it started. There were issues before. You know how many districts are there in Manipur? How many districts are there in Andhra Pradesh? After the new formation, you know how many districts are there? Let us keep 20 to 30, let us say. You know the size of Andhra Pradesh. You know the size of Telangana. You know the size of Karnataka. You know how many such districts are there. And you know the size of Manipur. You know how many districts are there? 16 districts are there. 16. So when small districts were formed, there itself in 2016 itself, the Naga groups, we said Maram Nagas are PVTGs. There are certain Naga groups. They opposed. They are telling that we are majority in this area. You are splitting it, making sure that we will become weak. So ethnic tensions, tribal, non-tribal issues has been happening there for so many decades. It is not a new thing, but it went out of control now. Like pressure built up over we learn about earthquake, no? Pressure built up over a period of time, a sudden trigger point, earthquake. So that is what is happening now. Second thing, we learned briefly about the Meiteis people, who are also known as Meiteis. They are the dominant people in Manipur, the indigenous people of Manipur. Okay, they mainly live in Imphal Valley region, the most developed part. This is the Imphal Valley region. See, Imphal, Imphal East, Imphal West. We can call this as the Imphal Valley region. If you see what is marked in this red is the valley areas. So we can see very less area. What is marked in green is the hill areas. More area, less population. So one point is correct. They should be having rights to buy land here and there. But their cookie point is also correct. More development should come to our area, isn't it? Otherwise, every benefit will go to the dominant group. And as per 2011 census, they form 53% of the population of the state. So that clearly says why they have 40 MLAs, nearly 40 MLAs. Then their language is Meitei. Telugu comes under which family? We say Dravidian family, isn't it? Of language. Meitei comes under the Tibeto-Burman family. Tibeto-Burman family. They might ask, Manipuri language comes under which family? Tibeto-Burman family. Burma is present day Myanmar. All times people used to say they went to Burma. Burma is present day Myanmar only. Majority of them presently follows Hinduism. We said how Chaitanya Vaishnavism influenced them. Then there is a religion called Sanamahi religion. That is their indigenous Meitei religion. Some people follow Sanamahi religion, their local gods. Okay. There are Meiteis who follow Islam as well, because at the time of early invasions from Bengal, many people used to convert to Islam as well. So all Meiteis are not Hindus. That is a misconception. Second thing, what about the Kukis? Kukis are not indigenous people of Manipur. Okay. But Kukis are present in all northeastern states except Arunachal Pradesh. In Arunachal Pradesh, they are not there. In all other northeastern states, they are there. They are a hill tribe. Tribes that usually live in the hills, not just in India. Very importantly, they are found in areas of Bangladesh and Myanmar as well. Bangladesh and Myanmar as well. That is why I said the CM criticized. Some of the people who are tweeting against me might be from Myanmar. One Twitter post said, "We want a separate state." The Chief Minister himself replied, "Maybe in Myanmar." You understand the issue? Then the trust won't come. The person who has to solve the issue shall not make such comments, isn't it? Suppose you are a Group 1 officer. Suppose you become the district collector. This is a case study. Okay? You are posted in an area in Andhra Pradesh. Two groups are fighting. If the two groups shall come and sit in front of you and talk to you, for that they should trust you. If one group believes that you are part of them and you are making comments on their behalf, issue will not be resolved. So in my perspective, this is not a religious issue. This is an ethnic issue. This issue is related to development. This issue is related to, non-uniform development. Some people benefiting maximum. You cannot simply say this is a religious issue. If you say that, this will not be resolved. Understand what is the problem, then solve it. You can simply amend this act maybe and make sure that they can occupy certain lands in these parts. At the same time, make sure that part of the budget or development goes to hill areas. If everybody is having employment, for example, you see, everyone is skilled, everyone is getting jobs according to their demand, which is an ideal situation, such fights will not happen, isn't it? Coming to Kukis, as I said, they are there in almost all northeastern states except Arunachal Pradesh. They are also there in Bangladesh and Myanmar. They are a hill tribe. They used to practice animism historically, a tribal religion. Animism means worshipping animals, such spirits. Okay. What happened is, we know most of the, the Comoros revolt against the British. We have heard such things. But there is a very important war, the Anglo-Kuki War. Anglo means British people. So the Kuki people in 1917-1919, they fought the British people. But obviously British at that time, they were very powerful. 1917 and all, their power was at the peak. What happened? They defeated the Kuki people. Understood? British defeated the Kuki people. Then mass migration or conversion to Christianity happened because the Kukis believed that they won because of their God. That is the thing with animism. You believe like that. We have heard about a leader who said that a tribal leader who said that I got enlightened from the God. God said that, go fight the British. You join my religion. So people blindly follow. So they believe that we lost not because we are weak, not because they are having superior weapons, because of their God. Their God is more powerful. And Britishers were Christians. So there was a mass conversion to Christianity. So Kukis were never Christians initially. They converted into Christianity nearly 100 years back. The mass conversion happened. Now do you understand? Meiteis, we cannot call them, all Meiteis are Hindus. Kukis, we cannot call them Christians. Meiteis are Meiteis, Kukis are Kukis. Yes, presently majority of the Meiteis are Hindus. Presently majority of the Kukis are Christians. They are fighting not because of Hindu versus Christian. They are fighting because development is not reaching. They are fighting because what they believe is their due share is not getting to them. Understand? But when a Meitei fights a Kuki, where you will find a cookie in their places of worship. Methi will destroy that. That will be a church because cookies are Christian. Suppose cookies does the same thing back to Methi, they will be destroying a temple. But what is the fundamental issue? Is it that Methis hate their religion? Or is it that Methis wants to settle in more areas? Or is it that cookies hate their religion? No. Cookies wants more rights, more development in their region. So if you understand that core issue only, you can solve the issue. So this is, since this is not a 6th scheduled state, you don't even need to amend the constitution. If you can have the leaders come to you and solve this issue, amend the act amicably, issue will be over. You understand that? So this is the Manipur crisis. We have discussed the geography. We have discussed the political history. We have discussed the present day politics. We have discussed the reason for the ongoing crisis. And you should also know there is a place called Moray. Okay. Have you heard Moray? Ever the place Moray in news? Have you heard it? Moray, if you see, is in border to Myanmar, isn't it? This is Myanmar, no? So Myanmar plus Laos plus Thailand, together they are called as what? Any idea? The Golden Triangle. Golden Triangle is infamously known for opium production, drug production. Moray is the biggest drug center in the entire Northeast. From this point, if you just Google it when you are free, drugs seized in Moray, you will find news articles, 6 kg seized, 12 kg seized. Assam Rifles did that. They found this many drugs, they found arms. So this is a big issue. Here you have to understand, is it an internal issue of India or is it an external issue? There was a recent news article which said that when China occupied more of our lands in Arunachal Pradesh, troops were moved out of Manipur to China. Then this started. Then there were insurgent groups coming from Myanmar, supporting both groups or cookies. So it is not just an internal issue. It is an internal security issue, but external factors are also involved. Okay. And as I told you, this place Churachandpur you have heard, where cookies are more, a hill area. Churachandpur, you remember the name Churachand? We just said Sir Churachand Singh, named after the king, a Methi king, but cookies are in power. So do you understand the present situation? Do you have any doubts? Do you have an overall, a better understanding, a different understanding of the Manipur violence? Online members, do you have any doubts? So this was the session, the whole session about. You have any queries regarding the program, about the PYQ analysis, the pattern, everything, please contacting this number, Civic Center 7013495019. Or if you want to know the detailed brochure, how many classes for each aspect, visit this website civiccenter.in. In that, you will have an option of APPSC. Go there. Within APPSC, we have services for Group 1, Group 2. You go to Group 1 2023, you will get the details that you want. Okay. Online members, do you have any doubts? Yeah, I hope there are no doubts. We will be ending the session. Thanks for participating.